All right, Canelo's trainer Errol had an interview on Boxing Scene a couple days ago where he talked about, the Errol Spence fight. Errol Spence called him out. He talked about Charlo, and also he talked about, the rest of the division, Caleb Blanc, Callum Smith, and etc. So let's talk about that. Also, got some news or some rumors on Canelo, so hang around for that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, check out the Boxing News playlist. He spoke on Errol Spence and said that right now Canelo can't make 160 without a year of fighting. He said they got to see how Errol Spence come out after the accident, but they can't make the weight right now, so they got to get into a fight and then get down to the weight. So that's what happened when Canelo had suppressed himself at 54 for too long, and then he sat at 55, scared to come to middleweight. So that's what happened when you drain the body of nutrients and fluid. It's kind of like starving yourself all day, and then eating one big meal. Chances are you're going to eat way more calories than you would have normally ate with 3 or 5 small meals. So same thing with making weight. Once you suppress yourself and keep yourself at a weight that your body no longer can make, easily or without struggling, then instead of you going to 60 and having a long campaign, now you got to jump up to 68 or 64 and a half and then 60 and then 68, then 75. Canelo really hurt his body, and when Canelo prime started to go, he gonna not take punches as well. He probably need to get out pretty soon anyway. He took a lot of abuse. Just not abuse, but just training and all these fights he got going on right now. So, if he would have went up to 60, to begin with, then he would be more comfortable as a fighter and he probably have more prime years. But it's really the training that take it out of you. Draining yourself to make 155, 154 for years, and he should have been moved up. A lot of guys be scared to move up in weight, because they really don't, trust themselves, or the division might be too tough. But in the long term, you hurting your health, draining yourself. So they say he can't make 160. So, Canelo probably try to get it at a catch weight, 163, 164. Errol Spence would be a fool to take that fight, right now or in the near future. You know what I'm saying? That's a fight that's going to be tough to win. He can't beat Canelo. He can't. He don't have enough skills to move up to 160 and do well. Unless he just go up there and he hitting hard as ever. He just saying he don't have enough experience. He don't have enough seasoning to move up to 160. Not right now to challenge him, but it'd be a nice way to cash out. But he just don't have that stuff, that shit that Mayweather had or Lara had. Good foot movement, good defense, hit, not get hit. He's best at pressuring. He ain't gonna outbox Canelo neither. His feet not good enough. So right now he just needs some more seasoning. He need to clean up what he got in front. But Eddie Reynoso does like the idea of fighting Jermall Charlo. He says that he liked his recent performances, and it sounds like he preferred that fight over Errol Spence, Callum Smith, and not John Ryder, but it was another one, Caleb Plant. He said that he likes the idea of Canelo, fighting Jermall Charlo. But the problem is Canelo is the one that don't want to make these fights with the top fighters. He's the one that put the rehydration clauses in here. He the one that put the loopholes. Oscar De La Hoya, he didn't do that as a fighter. You know what I'm saying? De La Hoya was a fighter's fighter. He's a pro's pro. He fight whoever. It's Canelo who don't have the confidence to fight and beat these guys. It's Canelo who don't want to fight Jermall Charlo. It's Canelo, well, Jermall Charlo may not want to fight him either. But it's Canelo that don't want to fight these dudes at a fair weight. It's a Canelo who don't believe in his skill set. It's Canelo that need all these barricades to make him feel all right. It's Canelo. Oscar De La Hoya, if he can make it to the fight round, he can make sure the judge do what they need to do. But, everybody likes the Jermall Charlo fight but Canelo. I guarantee you, Bernard Hopkins like it. Oscar De La Hoya like it. Eddie Reynoso like it. You know what I'm saying? It's a really good fight. But then again, he know he not going to be able to put that game dog down. He couldn't beat a drained Danny Jacobs. He couldn't put him down. He know Charlo going to make him fight from the bell to bell. And Canelo probably he don't think he got the balls or the grit or the stamina to really fight a guy like that. For him to beat Jermall Charlo, he going to have to really not just walk him into counters, but walk him into counters to the body. He got to beat that body down and then kill the chin. It'll be a very, very impressive fight, and then that'll be the one fighter that he beat in his prime. Everybody else he beat of note was either a blown up 47-pounder, blown up 40-pounder, or there was a situation where there was an older fighter, Floyd Mayweather, Shane Mosley, Carlos Baldomir, Miguel Cotto cousin, Jose Cotto, Floyd Mayweather, you know what I'm saying? Golovkin was an older fighter. Chavez was an older fighter. When you talking about his Korean parts, Kovalev was an older fighter. So, it seemed like everybody around Canelo want those fights, but Canelo is the one that don't really want to challenge himself, you know. And they said they sent the offer to Charlo. Charlo didn't like the offer. He didn't elaborate on why he didn't like the offer, and you know that's on him. But you know, I would be down to see that fight. You know, his coach didn't speak on Demetrius Andrade, and you know they don't like Andrade for the fight. He a longer, taller, you know, slick fighter. He's taller and longer than Lara, and maybe they don't feel confident they got to make that fight. That's the problem with the DAZN. The DAZN is gonna continue to sink. You know that ship gonna sink because they don't make the best fights. They still let Canelo and Golovkin do what they want to do, and as long as they let Golovkin do what he want to do, Canelo gonna feel like, you know, he gonna want to do what he want to do. Golovkin is fighting a dude, Camille Samata, who ain't no threat. You know what I'm saying? So Canelo looking like you ain't cut his pay. He fighting a bum. So at the end of the day, the DAZN is just gonna sink. You know, look at their schedule. It's just without Ryan Garcia, man, none of them fights worth to see. And Triple G, was it November 27th, whatever it is, or 20th versus Camille Samata? Who want to see that? Devin Haney versus Gamboa. Don't nobody want to see that. You know, Jaime McGuinn and Torian Johnson. That's a cool fight, but ain't nobody really calling for that. So I mean, the DAZN is just gonna fall victim to not being a dictator they should be. You know, and they trying to dictate with Canelo. You're going to take this pay cut. You're going to fight this guy. Canelo said, I sue you. Canelo ain't like no broke dude. Canelo sitting on money. So as long as the DAZN got, it's as long as Canelo got. You know, Canelo ain't struggling for money. Canelo could retire today and probably be okay. So can the DAZN outlast Canelo waiting, or can they come to some type of compromise? They said Canelo sent the counter offer. I forgot what it was, but or if I knew what it was, can't remember. And the DAZN hadn't responded yet, but it seemed like everybody around him want the Charlo fights. They want the big fights. He just, you know, when he get those big fights, he just got to handicap the opponent. You know, and the way he think of it is nobody gonna remember, you know, the handicaps I put on for 20 years ago. So I'm gonna go down as a great fighter. But to me, I ain't gonna forget all these fake champions or dudes that never fought the best, like Leo Santa Cruz, Canelo, guys like that. I'm not gonna forget that. I'll make sure I'll be at your Hall of Fame to throw eggs and, you know, to throw cups of piss at you. Straight up and down. A lot of these dudes that's going to go down the Hall of Fame don't deserve it. And it's a disrespect to guys like Willie Pep, you know, Carmen Brasilio, you know, Ray Robinson, Ray Leonard, George Foreman, Muhammad Ali. It's a disrespectful to let them into that fraternity when they don't deserve to be in there. Same thing for Arturo Gotti. I put Rocky Balboa between Arturo Gotti and Barry McGuinness. It's a lot of guys that don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but you know, it is what it is. When they look back on Canelo's career, they're not going to remember it was at a catchweight. Only people that lived in the here and the now is going to remember and follow boxing. So that's how everybody look at it. You know, everybody going to forget that Matisse only won a fake belt. You know, nobody going to remember he turned down an IBF belt because he didn't think Danny Garcia was going to pick him. You know, it's a lot of things in boxing, you know, history that people going to forget, or when they go back and look at the history books, they're going to think these dudes fought tough in the hard fights when they didn't. But it is what it is. But what I'm hearing now from the DAZN is that the DAZN wants Canelo to fight Callum Smith, okay? They want him to fight Callum Smith. Callum Smith haven't announced a fight. Billy Joe Saunders is going to fight Martin Murray. No, what's so ironic about it is in that interview on Boxing Scene, Eddie Ronaldo said that, you know, Callum Smith actually lost to John Ryder, and I heard the same thing from different people. But he said that he don't think Callum Smith can make the weight this much longer. So, you know, the DAZN want Canelo to fight Callum Smith. I don't know how you feel about Callum Smith, but I think it's more about the Fetty, more about the money, the WAP, and he don't want to take that pay cut to $20 million. I forget what he wants at 25. I think he wanted to take a pay cut down to 25, but right now, you know, the DAZN is pretty much trying to, you know, accommodate Canelo happiness and make that fight happen. But right now, they want him to continue to fight Callum Smith, and you know, he don't want to do it for like what it was, 18 or $20 million, whatever they trying to get him to cut his money down to. So basically, that's where they at right now. They trying to crunch the numbers to keep him happy. They countered his lawsuit with, you know, you get more money for how many subscribers you bring in. He still wasn't happy with that as well. So this is what happened when, you know, like these little rich kids or these little, you know, kids that benefited from a nice family that's spoiled and got spoiled their whole life, you know, who ain't never had to work hard and never had to go out there and get on themselves. When somebody tell them to go out here and do something to get on their own, they cry, they bitch, complain, and they can't do it. Same thing with Canelo. Everything that Canelo got in boxing, it was given to him. He never had a hard day in boxing in his life. He never had a chilling circuit. He never had to really, you know, earn nothing. Everything that, you know, his former promoter, All Star Promotions, And Oscar De La Hoya is getting, rolled out the red carpet. He a spoiled fighter to think he better than what he is. And to be honest, you can say his resume is great, but once you start dissecting the resume and the bullshit that comes in the resume, we can all expose that Canelo is a manufactured pattern fighter. He wouldn't beat no Terry Norris. Maybe if he caught him, he wouldn't beat a lot of guys. Julian Jackson and Marvin Hagler, James Toney, Andre Ward. All those dudes that surrounded those areas that he fought in, he have a problem with. But it is what it is. Now I did hear something else. I'll say this on the live tonight. I believe I will be live tonight unless something happen. I heard on the grapevine, you heard it here first, that Abner Mares is asking Al Haymon to fight Shakur Stevenson. He also was asking Al Haymon to fight Ryan Garcia for some reason. I can't remember why it didn't come out, but Abner Mares is asking Al Haymon for Shakur Stevenson, and we all see Abner Mares' eye on TV. Abner Mares got to be a fool to think, some commission to let him fight. His eye rolling around in his eye. His eyes cocked like a pistol in a bank robbery, and he trying to fight Shakur Stevenson. Like, get out of here. You didn't want to fight Gary Russell or Rigondeaux while you was, while everything was physically right with you. So all of a sudden now you want to fight the tough fight. Nigga, I wouldn't even fight him. His eyes damn near is cocked like a pistol on a bank robbery. He got to understand it's over with, move over. That's why Al gave you that thing, that party job on Showtime. If Abner Mares' significant other, whoever around him, mother, father, let him, go out there and fight, or his trainer, I would refuse to train him. Al Haymon should just give him some money to hold him over if that's what he need. Al Mares need to retire. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out if you have a business question, call, sponsorship, video request. All my social media links are in the description. Twitter is the fastest way, then Facebook. Then make sure you check out our Facebook group link that's in the description. Want to make a donation to the channel? Cash App CJ Good 313. Shout out to Ed for donating today as well too. Appreciate it, bro. Cash App CJ Good 313. PayPal link in the description. All that information in the description. Let me know what you guys think about the video. One time for the one time.